Okay, let's go ahead and get moving. I sent the minutes out, the draft minutes out a few weeks ago. I assume everyone's had a chance to read them. I think Lori resent them recently. Are there any questions about the minutes?
No, but do we want to start this with the Pledge of Allegiance?
We haven't been doing it virtually.
Oh, okay, sorry.
When we get together, we'll do it, and we'll
right.
stand and all of that. So we got a quorum, and any questions on the minutes?
Nope.
No,
All right, I'll entertain a motion to approve the minutes.
Yes.
Is there a
yes,
second?
I second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
aye,
Aye.
Any denials or nays? Clearly passes. Okay, let's go into unfinished business. That's what we used to call old business, but now we're calling it unfinished business. Queen City honor flight status for May. Peter, do you have any more information on that?
I've actually heard nothing. I've heard nothing so far, so I'm assuming that nothing has changed or happened with it so far.
I looked on the website and nothing's changed there. It's still suspended till further notice.
Okay. Honor flight. Still suspended.
I have a question. Lori,
Yes, sir.
we can carry this forward into the next fiscal year, correct?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah, we'd already paid for it,
right.
so they got our money. Okay, review the trifold assignment. Larry.
Okay, so I took a look at the trifold and so on the back, local supporters, the only one that I can determine needed the change, Temple Mojo no longer exists and they've become Carolina Beer Temple, which is up above. That's the only change that I could see, for all the local supporters. Provided, I don't know what COVID-19, I'm assuming everyone's still in business, but yeah, there are no changes there.
Okay.
Except for that one change. So it's just delete Temple Mojo. And then like we talked about last time, under reoccurring local events, the Legion Post 235, we just got to change that. And I think that's it, and we're good to go.
All right, I've got a question. I don't know if you can see it or not, but since Fisk was here, we had the chair and the vice at the bottom.
Right.
Every time one of them changed, or two of them changed, we reprinted. The question I have for MBAC is, when we update what you've come up with, do we want to get rid of those? Because every year or two, there's a new chair or a new vice, and the old ones get tossed. They cost about $250 if I remember the last time. I'm going to get myself on the center of the screen. The last time I got some. So what do you think?
All right, so let me jump in here. First thing, to answer Lori's question from earlier, Innovate Graphics
Yes.
are the people that does this for us, okay?
Thank you.
Number one. Number two is, I think going forward to save reprinting money is to put down the town or something like that rather than a specific name. In other words, call the town to get more information.
What will we put there?
We can discuss that more if you want to, but I would recommend the main town telephone number, and then that could be directed to the staff liaison at that time. which
Right.
is, so the main number is 704-847-4411. And you could just put that, or you could put the matthewsnc.gov web address if you wanted.
That's on the next page.
Okay.
So maybe we want to move it off the bottom of the next page onto the front of it,
Your choice.
underneath. That way people can see it right off the bat. I don't know what everyone thinks, but I agree with you, Tom or Jack, to take that stuff off. That way, when we go to reprinting, we don't have, we may not.
And for your information, the last time we printed these was $220 for 1,000.
So we're going to take that. What are we saying? Take that off the bottom, and just put the town, maybe a phone number for the town and the website for the town. Maybe a good idea. That's just one suggestion.
I like that, the main number and then the town website. Now, are you replacing Temple Mojo with Carolina Beer Temple? Because it's the same owners. They basically just consolidated two businesses three into two.
Let's get an update on that. Mark, you're still with us. What's the latest ownership?
John Kelly and Stephen Pye are now the total owners of all of Seaboard and all of the pizza on outside of Seaboard. And they also took over the space that had been Carolina Beer Temple, and will be opening a private club in that facility sometime soon. So the only thing that Rob Jasek owns now, that to my understanding, is the new Carolina Beer Temple, which used to be the Mojo.
And the title Temple Mojo no longer exists, correct?
Correct.
So that was the only change. You can keep them there if they donated or whatever, but they don't exist anymore. So
Then let's get rid of it. When we update this, let's get rid of it.
right.
And we've got.
I think it's important that for us to put the names on this trifold as contributors, that they agree they're still contributors, whoever they may be. So I think we have to reach out to all of them.
What does it mean to be a contributor?
I think originally some of them actually gave us money, contributed to some of the money that we got.
Yeah, and some of them put our posters in their windows, things
Right.
like that.
Right.
May I ask a question?
Sure.
Sure.
So were you guys intending to go and contact businesses again at some regular point? Or was it more that the supporters from the get-go would remain on your documentation in perpetuity?
The latter.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
With their
I don't
permission.
think we're planning on divvying up the list and sending people out.
Got it.
At least
Thank you.
would not be my intention.
What would the town recommend?
It's really up to you. A lot of times what folks do is use that as something of a fundraising option. So people do sometimes, or organizations do sometimes say, for this year, your support will give you this kind of like advertisement on our pamphlet.
Okay.
And then that time, the following year, you go around again. Things might change, things might not. That's completely up to you guys. We don't recommend one way or another.
Okay.
Well, if we're going to do that, then that opens up a whole different project that we have to have people visiting all these sites and stuff.
And two, I will say this is a very difficult time to do that. So I wouldn't
Right.
even recommend you do it right now anyway.
I think what we can do
Good
is
point.
get rid of, when we're ready to print, we'll get rid of Temple Mojo. We'll change the meeting place for the American Legion, or time, or whatever the date is. And we'll get rid of the the two positions on the front bottom, and then add contact the town's main number. And the website.
Mark, for your information, the American Legion change means saying the address for the meetings is not the Women's Club, which is on the brochure, but actually it's the other place.
Masonic Lodge?
Yeah, do you have
Masonic
the
Lodge, yeah.
Masonic?
And that would have to be changed,
Yes. Right now it says Women's Club.
right? And that was one of the things we said had to be changed.
Right.
But that'll have to do. So we want to do that now?
Yes, why not? Let's do it.
All right, Larry, will you deal with that? Please?
What do we, as far as who knows the printer and everything?
Well, it's
Back on
Innovate.
the printer.
It's the Innovate people who've done this for us in the past.
Okay.
I can contact them.
Okay, Jack, next time we get together, you and I would just go over it and then we'll send it to printing once. We'll just double check and then we'll send it.
Yes, or actually bring it to them. Yes.
Right.
May I interrupt again? So
Yeah.
I apologize that I don't know how you guys did it in the past with the previous staff liaisons, but in general, with the use of town funds, we do need to get items approved ahead of time. So what I would ask is that you get a quote for it and we pay for it with the town funding. Like, you guys shouldn't have to pay for it and get reimbursed.
Yeah, Lori, that's what
Town
we,
should-
I'm sorry.
No, I'm sorry, go ahead.
That's what I've done in the past. I put in, I get the quotes, I get the dollar amounts, and I have specifics as how many and how much, and I send this request to the town. They approve it, and then they send the check.
So did you say they send the check? So you're not paying your own, okay, perfect.
No, we do everything through the town.
Okay, perfect.
Mhm.
Thank you.
Tom, may I ask a question?
Yes.
Jack, is that Innovative a Matthews company?
Good question. I mean, we've done it with them for a couple of years. I know the town has worked with them also.
I believe they are.
Yep. Let me see if I can find an address.
They're good people. So can we
Okay.
move on now?
Okay, yeah, they, no, they have a Charlotte address. They have a Charlotte PO box.
Then they're just outside of Matthews,
They're located in Mint Hill
but they're good people.
for actual physical location.
And they have a great,
They've already done a very good job on it. So, I mean,
Yep.
I agree.
I mean, we've gone out, when we first started this program, meaning the advisory committee, and started doing things such as this, we did go out and get different quotations, and they came in very, maybe not the lowest all the time, but very good all the time. So I don't recommend we stray away from them.
All
I
right,
agree.
Let's move on. So much, we're done with the trifold review. Quarterly report was delivered to the town. I did it a week ago, Tuesday, week ago, yesterday. It seemed to go okay. I'd sent out notes on that to you all, but that seemed to go all right with no real reaction. The U.S. Service Flag Project, I sent you my comments on how it went. The board wanted 2 more weeks to think through it, so I hope it'll be discussed this coming Monday. And I was hoping we get backing with Public Works on the installation of the fixtures prior to Veterans Day week. Leif Fitzpatrick was providing a quote for us from Condor and the contact with him, and he sent that. But he also sent me an email, which I just forwarded to you all. We will require Duke Energy permission to use the light poles, which came out of left field for me. We've been discussing this for 6 months or so, and here we are getting ready to buy some things, and I'm not sure what we can do. Lori, can the town intercede for us? Is there something that can be done on the flags?
So, pardon me. So, Duke has to give approval. We can't do anything about that. We need to wait for them to do that. I am sure that we can get assistance in having Life make contact and introduce someone from the committee to Duke, but it is my understanding that the board expects you guys to do the work of getting that approval from Duke. So we can help in making that connection, but the request would have to come from you. So if that is one person that's leading that charge, I can connect you with Life Fitzpatrick, or if you want a group of you to do it, however you want to do it on your end, I can help to make sure that we make that connection with Duke through Life Fitzpatrick.
Peter, can you do that?
I thought since they're already using that we would be fine to keep using it, but the town's already put brackets on the light poles.
Every change has to be approved. It's not a blanket approval for anything. So Duke is very particular about things like this. So unfortunately, we do need to have a separate approval process for this.
Yes, I guess I can work on that. I'm getting ready to go out of town for a week and a half, so it'll have to wait till after that.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I work for a police department as an analyst, and I know everybody else's kind of lives have been on hold, but I am 100%, 200% wide open right now with rioting and COVID and a little bit of everything going on.
I'm sure.
Peter, no sweat, man. You've been working this for a long time. Don't sweat this, okay?
I'm working overtime, so it's been really busy.
We're good, Peter. Don't worry about it. We'll get it done.
Okay. All right, treasurer's report.
All right, the treasury report is very similar to the last time in that all the funds for this past year, excuse me, are committed, primarily for the flag program. And going forward, we've asked for a certain amount of money, and we think we're getting $2,500. Not sure yet. To move that forward, and that will be used for the leftover or the carryover, excuse me, for the flag project. And I understand that it's possible that the town can help with that over and above the $2,500. Tom?
We had heard from the town manager that he was requesting $2,500 for us, like he has in the past. I didn't see it in the budget, his budget request for the town. I sent him an email and I haven't gotten a reply yet, so I sent him another one today and I haven't gotten a reply. So I'm assuming that they've done that and the funding is there. It just may be buried in one of the items that they have on the budget. I just don't know.
You guys don't get a separate line item. It is in the budget. The budget it isn't scheduled to be approved by the Board of Commissioners until Monday, the 8th, but it is in the recommended budget.
Great.
Thank you.
Good news. Hey, super.
Makes me smile.
Okay. Moving onward.
Oh, let me interrupt real quick.
Go for
While we
it.
were talking, I Googled Innovate. Innovate has a Charlotte PO box, but they're actually out of Mint Hill,
Okay.
for your information.
All right.
Just what Mike said about a half hour ago.
Just confirming.
Okay, we've talked about treasurer's report, focus for this year, update on the Veteran of the Year program. James Munoz is not here with us, so we don't have an update there. Discuss colors flown for a day, for Veteran of the Year or the Honor Flight person. That is, I guess, also up in the air at this point in time. When I did my talk to the town last week, I did mention that as something that we're planning on doing and gave them a rough view, a vision. I said we don't have all the details yet, exactly how it's going to happen, but we're working on those. So that was continuing on. Any comments on that one? There being none, let's move on to plans for fiscal year 21. Just to review them, I sent you all a copy of those again today, but let me just go through them. Make sure there are not any changes or any disagreements. The big thing we do is serve in advisory capacity to the town mayor and the board of commissioners. We lead the Matthews Veteran of the Year program. We fund the Queen City Honor Flight for one Matthews veteran resident a year. We fly the military service flags in weeks of the 2 national holidays, assuming that finally gets approved. We're funding the service flags and fixtures from John Street to the fire station during next year. Fly the U.S. colors at Town Hall for 1 day for the Veteran of the Year and the Honor Flight awardee. We keep the veterans display cases filled with important information for veterans, and we get that from the Veterans Service Organization for the county. Hopefully they'll start meeting again soon. We support Memorial Day and Veterans Day events by the American Legion, and we're going to reprint either or both of the MVAC trifolds, and we just talked about the main trifold that we've had and talked about what we want for that. And that light shining through the window, I'm going to close the blinds. That may be better. Any questions on what we've talked about doing for next fiscal year? Any comments? Okay, there being none, that's what we will be following. Officer nominations. We're going to nominate this evening people for the chair, the vice chair, the treasurer, and secretary. Actual voting will happen at our next meeting on July the 1st. And as I said earlier, I'm not going to run for a third term as chair. 2 years in the position, plus 2 years as a vice. At my age of 77, that's probably all I need to be doing. And I think it's time for a change.
Go on a cruise.
Go on a cruise. I would like to go on a cruise. We almost got on a cruise, and 2 days before we were to get underway, they canceled the cruise. But those more will come. I think my predecessor, Fisk Outwater, and great Brigadier General, also served for 2. And I'm certainly here available to help the new chair get started. That can be done in any one of the good places we have in Matthews. Mayor Fairtown. But I've chosen not to run. And just for information, I have also just resigned as a board member of the Matthews Historic Foundation. I will open nominations by nominating Fred Baylor, our current vice chair. Fred's not here, but he knows.
That's what he gets.
Say again?
That's what he gets for not being here.
So I nominate Fred. Having said that, are there any other nominations? Anyone interested in doing it? I mean, for the folks here. Anyone else want to be the chair? You know, please. Say again? Jim, did you say something?
No,
All right, there being none, we'll hold it at that, and people can be added between now and the first for consideration. I am also nominating Larry Stawicki to be the vice chair. He and I chatted a little bit about that the other day. I think he would be a great one, a Marine officer. I think he would be a fine vice chair to support. Are there any other individuals who would like to be considered to run for the vice? All right. There being none, for the treasurer, I nominate Jack Santaniello. Is there anyone else who's interested in being the money bags?
Go for it.
And I was hoping Charlene Thompson would be here. I would nominate her to be secretary. Right now, we haven't had a secretary for a while, and it's turned out to be the chair gets to write the minutes. And I think we need a secretary, so I would nominate her.
That's going to go to the vice chair in the future.
All right, that ain't happening.
Larry's an educated Marine. He can write.
Yeah. I don't. If we're open for discussion, what happens if Fred doesn't want to be the chair? I absolutely don't have the time. I'm not kidding. And I may not be as bad as Peter, but I think that probably if he doesn't want to be the chair, the next thing we should probably do is wait until we can get the committee to all meet in person and see what we're going to do. Unless somebody wants to step up to be the chair. I don't really want to be the vice, but, you know, I'll help Fred out as much as possible.
Like we talked about yesterday evening, if Fred chooses not to be the chair,
Right.
if he removes his name from the list, then we do have an issue. And as we said last night, I think we all need to get together physically and sit down and talk about how we want to deal with it. And that would be the 1st of July is the next meeting.
Hi, you've reached the
Even-
end to screen our calls. If you're listening to this message, we either don't recognize your number or we're not at home. So
and you get to hear our messages. Okay. What do you think? I mean, the organization needs a chair, needs a vice, needs a treasurer. What do you think? I guess we can get together and talk about how we're going to handle it, and stay until we reach some kind of decision. And that next meeting would be the first day of July.
And you know, we've got other people, at least what, 4 that aren't here, and a possible new member coming aboard.
Yes.
And I wouldn't expect a new member to be chair, but you know, I think if we could kind of impress upon people that we all need to get together 1 July. And I would also say if we have too many people that can't make 1 July, I don't know if that 4th of July holiday is going to mess that up, or should we go, you know, the 8th. I think we stick with 1 July, as long as we know that people are going to come by.
Okay.
May I interrupt?
Yeah.
So what I can do is contact everybody now, you know, this week, find out what their availability is, impress upon them that we really need to get the largest group together possible, see if they're available for 1 July. If not, we can check some other dates and move the meeting to whatever date works best for the largest group.
Okay.
I think that's a good idea.
Yep.
All right, I'll do that tomorrow.
I mentioned July 8th the following week as a possibility.
How about what I would suggest instead is let's see who can make it on the 1st.
All right.
And if you don't get a good number, then we can offer alternatives.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
I can tell you do this on a regular basis.
One of my job duties is herding cats and all that comes with it.
I think that's the ideal way to go.
All right.
Okay. Well, we have a slate nominated. If one or two don't want it, especially the chair, then we've got a plan that we'll deal with. Now, the next thing is Doug
I'm sorry,
Rhodes.
Tom, I have one more question. My apologies. If Fred chooses not to take the nomination, are you able to continue acting as chair, or would you prefer to step down after tonight?
I prefer to step down when at the end of, ideally I step down at the end of the fiscal year, which is the end of June. But I can hang around for another week or 2 or 3 or 4 or something like that.
Well, it's completely up to you. What happens in situations where the chair is not available for whatever reason, then the vice chair, whoever that is, and I apologize, I don't know, would just take over the duties until the new board is voted in. So whoever your current vice chair is could take over the reign. Oh, is that you, Larry?
No, that's Fred.
I'm sorry. So, capacity, if you weren't able to continue past that time whenever everybody gets together. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay.
I guess that means Fred can't quit.
That's what it means.
Yeah.
Fred will be the chair one way or the other. But it's, as I said, I think it's time for me to leave. And being the chair takes time. And a lot of things you want to do with your family, you sometimes you say, well, we can't do that because we got this meeting or that meeting. And at some point, that's gotta stop. And that's kind of where I am at this point. We've gone through a lot in the last 4 or 5 months, especially when we couldn't meet. And then we got ourselves together, thanks to Lori and Teresa, last month, and got a lot of stuff done. But elections were just not that high a priority versus trying to get ourselves underway again, which we did. But I think it's important for me to after 2 years as the chair and 2 years as the vice, is to step down at this point. And I think Fred will do a good job. And I know Larry will be a great vice. So that's kind of where I am. Am I making any kind of sense or no?
Yeah.
We're good.
Okay. All right. Doug Rose has been wanting to join our elite organization for some months. And for one reason or another, we just haven't been able to vote on it. Everybody has had his form that he filled out, talked about what he does and that type of stuff. I think we ought to vote on him. When we vote on him, it's where we're giving our blessing, and then it goes to the town board, and they're the ones who actually do the final blessing. But I think they'll follow us in what we want to do. So I'll entertain a motion to vote on Doug Rose.
I make the motion.
Second.
Second the motion.
All right. All in favor of asking Doug Rose to be a member of MVAC, say aye.
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 All opposed?
Aye.
Very good. It clearly passes. We will pass that.
Tom, I'm sorry, but I didn't see Peter's vote. Could you do a, Peter, are you still there?
I'm sorry, I'm an aye. Yes, I'm good.
Thank you.
Okay. Now, I guess at this point in time, we're open for public comments. Lori?
Mark is here if he wishes to say something.
No, thank you.
I'd like to say something. Spoke about this the other day and last month also. It's obvious that we need some new blood in the committee. And we talked about how do we get this, how we get people involved. And one was advertising, marketing. And I thought that Matthews was going to help us with that. I'm not sure where we are with that at this point in time. Lori?
So that is true. That was the plan. I will say that once the virus hit, that kind of went to the wayside. The plan generally is once we're able to meet more in person and things get back to a little bit more back to normal, we'll be able to do that big push to advertise, because yours is not the only committee that needs new members. But because of the difficulty inherent in interviewing folks, it's just going to have to wait a little bit longer. And I apologize. I know that's very difficult. What we can do is I can talk to Maureen Keith, our communications coordinator, about what our timeline is going to be. We are going to be advertising MVAC along with other openings in our advertisements. What I have found just personally in dealing with other advisory committees is it's effective to do that kind of advertising, but it's more effective when the members of the existing committee talk to people that they know.
Mhm.
So if, I don't know if you probably have already done that, but if you haven't, if there's anybody that you think might be at all interested, you know, say, here's a link to the application. We would love to have you, and maybe give them that personal invitation. And that really seems to do a great job. I've seen that happen in other committees. So
Okay,
that's a
well,
suggestion for you.
I talked with one of my fellow members yesterday, and we both became aware of the committee 4 years ago, I think it was, through the Mid Hill Matthews paper. And that's how I came involved, and that's how he came involved. And I wonder if we can't go through them again. And I know that we have, we meaning the Legion, has a monthly quarter of a page in the Mid Hill that they help us advertise or talk about veterans affairs and what's happening with veterans. And I'm sure Mark can help us with that if we let him do that.
I think if you guys agree, and if the Legion agrees, I think that would be fantastic. That would be great outreach to the people who are interested in exactly your type of business.
Okay, well, good. I'll talk to Mark about that.
Okay. I think that does it. Is there anything else we need to talk about?
Tom, are you closing the meeting? Tom, are you closing the meeting now?
Shortly, yes.
Can I open for public comments?
Yes, I thought we just did that, but please go ahead.
Okay, this is actually directed to Peter. Peter, the American Legion was also wanting to buy some flags, service flags and American flag, POW/MIA flags. So I contacted Condor, which is the company that you also contacted for it. But I went a step further, and I requested a written confirmation that all of the flags were made in America with American materials, and that they acknowledged with that. And also, I went a step even further than that, saying that if they had vendors that supplied any flags to them for branch of service, POW/MIA American, that I wanted to get a written affidavit from the vendors as well for the American Legion that they also were made in America with American materials. And I just, no more than a couple of hours ago, just received the final confirmation note from one of the vendors. And so we are now all set that everything we want to buy is American made with American made materials.
Good.
Wonderful.
Great.
Any other comments? Okay, there being none, it's now 8:00. I'm having a hard time I'm looking at my notes to make sure I'm not missing something. We got Doug Rose. We did the nominations. Talked about colors flown for a day. There still needs work to be done. And the Duke Energy question, Peter will lead that, at least initially, for us. And I guess that's it. Lori, I'm due to talk to the town board, I guess, next Monday.
Yes.
And that's to basically get their blessing on
Yeah, that's the continuation of the discussion that was started at the last meeting. So, couple Duke, making sure that it's approval. I mean, the staff recommendation is for the board to approve it with the expectation that Duke is going to give you guys approval. And hang on, let me look at the memo. And that the issues about ADA are addressed. I don't know if you had discussed that with the rest of the folks, but do you recall when there were some questions about how low the flags were going to hang, and we need to ensure that they're not going to block anybody? ADA restrictions require things to be a certain height level so as not to impede the progress of anybody walking down the sidewalk, things like that. So pretty much when the brackets are placed, they need to be placed in a specific height so as not to run into any trouble.
The height not to block views or people for ADA. Okay.
And you and I, or perhaps you and Life Fitzpatrick, can talk about that more offline if you want more info on that.
Okay. All right. Is there anything else we need to talk about?
I just want to confirm that the next meeting is July 1st unless it's otherwise changed.
Right.
I'm going to send out that email tonight, actually, to everyone. I'm going to ask people to respond to me by Friday. I don't know if they will or not, but hopefully I will be able to get you guys an answer about the next meeting date, or at least their availability on the 1st by Friday.
Okay, cool.
But at that time, we still may be virtual, right?
We may still be virtual. We just don't know yet. It might even be that we won't know until a few days before. We just don't know how this is going to go.
Okay.
Well, if that were the case, just blue sky it. Could we not get together out on the green in front of Town Hall, distancing ourselves by 10 feet or so, and just work through it?
You could.
So that could be an
Not
option
raining.
also.
If it's not raining.
If it's not raining, it's not too
One guy
hot.
gets the gazebo.
Well, hey, Tom, the town will put up a tent for us, no problem.
You want to pool your pennies and rent one for yourselves?
Okay, very good. Okay, so I'm still on for Monday,
Yes, sir.
and just for info for everybody, I've got to have a little bit of surgery coming up in the next week or two, so I'm going to be down and out for a week or so. I think I see the surgeon tomorrow. I'll find out, but just for info. But I still am available via this thing and my phone in case anybody needs to get hold of me. Anything else we need to talk about? Being none, I declare the meeting closed.
Right.
Thank you. Great meeting.
Good luck
Okay.
on your surgery, Tom.
Thank you.
Yeah, good luck.
Best of luck, Tom. Thank you.